What's going on, everybody? This is John coming at you from beautiful sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's talk a little bit about grace on our way home. We'll do another drive-by devotional. And you can keep me company for the next few minutes as I drive home from work. So the channel is called Grace, Liberty, and the Finished Work of Jesus Christ. And so let's talk a little bit about grace, shall we? Grace is something just like love and certain other topics that theologians have been talking about, studying about, and contemplating for centuries. But grace is really not that complicated. Grace in the Greek is charis. Charis means undeserved, unmerited favor with no need for repayment. There's a lot that could be said about this, a definition of love alone. Undeserved, unmerited favor. What does this mean? This means that you can't earn it. You can't earn the grace of God. You don't deserve the grace of God. You can't be obedient enough to keep the grace of God. And for people like me, and probably some of you too, that's an amazing thing. Because I'll tell you what, I realized that a long time ago. There's no way I could earn God's grace or anything else that God has for me. It's all by grace. We are saved by grace through faith. Right? So if you read that in Greek, right? Saved in Greek means delivered from harm. Grace, we know, undeserved, unmerited favor, no need for repayment, and faith, to be persuaded of. I am delivered by trusting in the undeserved, unmerited favor of God. The word saved doesn't necessarily mean eternal salvation. That's a modern Christian term. It simply means being delivered from harm. So to be delivered from anything, whether it's something that I'm doing to myself, maybe it's a bad habit, or, an addiction, or maybe it's just a terrible situation. Deliverance comes from grace, by trusting in the grace of God. Titus 2:11 and 12. The grace of God that has appeared unto all men, teaching us to deny ungodliness. It's grace that teaches us to deny ungodliness. Grace. Not all this, if you shall sin, you've fallen from the grace of God. Read that passage in Hebrews in context, please. That is not at all what it's saying. Okay? Now, and since grace is undeserved, you can't fail grace. It's impossible. God showers you with grace. There's not a sin or anything in this universe that you could do, that would exceed the grace of God. And this is important. And let's look at the other part of that. No need for repayment. No need for repayment. Which means that I don't need to tell God I'm going to do something for him because he helped me out. Which means that, again, people taking things out of context, James chapter 2, verse 19 and 20, I believe, since I'm driving and I have my Bible with me, when it says faith without works is dead, if you read it in context, it's not talking about salvation. It's not talking about your life needs to change in order to show that you're saved. No, that's not true. Because by definition, the word grace means no need for repayment. I don't need to repay anything. I don't need to change anything. We just let the grace of God help change your life. You trust in grace, and it's all good. So this is why the channel is called grace, liberty, and the finished work of Jesus Christ. We'll talk a little bit about liberty, and we'll talk a little bit about the finished work, just so you know where I'm coming from. God bless, my friends.